Welcome to Explified. The ozone layer is located within the stratosphere, approximately 24 kilometers above the Earth's surface. The layer basically consists of ozone molecules formed by the reaction of sunlight with oxygen, which are responsible for filtering out the sun's dangerous ultraviolet radiation. Without a functional ozone layer, life on Earth would be stricken with a variety of skin cancers, sunburn, and cataracts, and eventually cease to exist. However, increased pollution levels on Earth have expunged into the atmosphere harmful chemicals like chlorofluorocarbons in dangerous proportions over many years. These chemicals, which mainly originate from refrigerator and air conditioner usage, have symmetrically eroded away the ozone layer over time. The depletion of the ozone layer poses grave concerns over the future of the planet and exposes the human race and the agricultural and aquatic ecosystems to grave danger. In this video, we discuss the main causes behind the erosion of the ozone layer, countermeasures that were adopted in its wake, and its current condition. Causes. In the mid 1970s, two scientists by the name of Mario Molina and F. Sherwood Rowland first suggested that the ozone layer could be depleted by chlorofluorocarbons or CFCs, the research that earned them a Nobel Prize. In 1985, Joseph Farman reported the formation of an ozone hole, a large springtime decrease in stratospheric ozone around the Earth's polar region. Overall, a 4% drop in the total amount of ozone in Earth's atmosphere has been observed since 1970. Thus, the primary cause of ozone depletion is the presence of these chlorine containing source gases, primarily CFCs and related halocarbons. Upon being struck by ultraviolet light, these gases dissociate and release chlorine, which initiates ozone destruction. Now, this chlorine catalyzed ozone depletion can take place anywhere, but is exponentially aggravated in the presence of polar stratospheric clouds (PSCs). These clouds form during winter in the extreme cold. The lack of sunlight which ensues in these 3-month-long polar winters creates a sharp drop in temperature close to -80 degrees Celsius and a vortex chilly wintry air. When springtime comes around and the sun rises again, these conditions highly favor the chemical reactions which release chlorine and break down the ozone layer. This is the main reason why the ozone holes are only found above the Antarctic and Arctic, despite those regions hosting minimal population and chemical release. The frigid temperatures are the cause which brings about this process. So, with the huge amounts of CFCs already present in the atmosphere above major towns and cities all over the world, a global drop in temperatures would bring about further deterioration of the ozone layer and inflict severe damage. Consequences. Apart from the obvious rise in UV radiation, which would lead to unprecedented increases in skin cancers and cataracts, the depletion of the ozone layer also has other adverse effects. Increased surface UV leads to increased tropospheric ozone, which is another health risk to humans. Marine and aquatic flora and fauna is also affected. A November 2010 report by scientists at the Institute of Zoology in London found that whales off the coast of California have shown a sharp rise in sun damage, and the depletion of the ozone layer is to blame. An increase of UV radiation also affects crop, causing stunted plant growth and lower agricultural yields. Countermeasures. Ozone depletion and the ozone hole have sparked widespread concerns regarding human health and the biosphere's well-being. These concerns culminated into the Montreal Protocol in 1987. The Montreal Protocol is an international treaty designed to protect the ozone layer from chlorofluorocarbons. Signed by the United States and 45 other countries, initially, it entered into force on 1st January 1989. Since then, 197 nations have ratified the treaty. It mainly banned the production and use of most identified ozone depleting substances, that is ODS, including CFCs, halons, propellants, and etc. The Montreal Protocol is considered to be the most successful international environmental agreement to date. After its inception in 1989, ozone levels stabilized by mid 90s and actually started to go up in early 2000s. Full scale recovery is a long run process, and it is expected that at the current level of CFC emission, it will take approximately till 2075 to reach pre 1980 ozone levels. Besides having prevented large scale ozone depletion and its harmful consequences, the Montreal Protocol has also helped to slow climate change. Ozone depleting substances also double as greenhouse gases that trap the heat in the atmosphere, raising terrestrial radiation and hence global temperature. So, phasing them out has also helped reduce global warming. Current condition: the ozone layer will take many more years to fully recover. Ozone levels fluctuate naturally from year to year, so scientists need to look at time series data over long time periods to identify any possible trends. The potential for short lived chlorine and bromine gases to affect the ozone layer has been recognized for a while. Of late, dichloromethane, a liquid that is widely used as a solvent, has been found in the atmosphere in high concentrations, and it has been deduced that if it continues to increase, it will be a potential problem for the ozone layer. Although such short lived substance emissions are not expected to have a significant impact on the ozone layer, we must never ignore the possibilities of them turning into major pollutants.